What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Trey. We back at it again with another one. So you want to go local. You thinking about it. You an over the road driver. You put your work in. Your 6 months. Your 12 months. Your 18 months. You put your time in. You want to go local. Where should you go? My advice to you off top is don't go refrigerated. Don't go dry van. Local. I don't see a lot of people out here making a lot of money dry van, refrigerated, local, you know, unless you're doing a lot of stops each day. That's the only way I see people dry van or refrigerated making a decent amount of money is if they're doing a lot of stops each day. Find yourself a niche market, flatbed, where you got to drive and you got to put some extra work in on top of that to make your money. Find you a place where you've got to do 15 stops a day in order to make your money. You want to go local, you're going to have to get used to traffic. You're going to be driving a lot more in traffic. It's something you're going to deal with every day. There's no more over the road. You traveling the entire Iowa 80 and you don't have to deal with traffic for 3-4 days straight. That's not going to happen anymore. These are the facts. You're going to have to deal with traffic. You're going to have to get used to driving in it. You're going to have to get yourself comfortable with it. Local, for the majority of us, is a hustler's game. Time becomes everything. Those conversations that you're having at the shipper or the receiver, you can still have condensed conversations, but it's after you handle your business. There is no uh, while you're tarping or while you're securing your load, you take a 30-minute break to have a conversation. Uh, there is no, oh, I'm work out some tricks with my clock and I'm gonna, stay off duty for 8 hours till I get some time back. Running local, you can't do that. You're gonna be running so many loads that I might run 75 loads a month. 75. So, whereas you might make a mistake every 8 loads, I might run 8 loads in 2 days. So, I can't make mistakes as often as you can. So, when you're running local, you're running at a much faster pace. So, over 3 months' time, if you're not as good as you say you are, if you're not prepared for this, if you're not getting rest at the house, it will show. You've got to be focused out here. And that's why they want experienced drivers who know what they're doing and have the drive and determination to be good at this and to get these loads there on time and do it safely. That's why they need drivers with experience. So if you're out here and you're trying to get into the local game with only 2 or 3 months OTR experience, don't expect that job to pay because you're just not good enough at what you do to be able to work as hard as people with 2 or 3 years or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, 9 years of local driving experience or just driving experience, period. You want to be home, you'll get home. Uh, don't be under the assumption that when you're going to go local, you're going to be getting a 9 to 5. 9 to 5s in trucking don't pay. These are just the facts. They don't pay. You're still going to be working your 12, 13 hours, 14 hours. You're still going to have those days if you want your check to look right. If you want to be able to pay your bills and still have some stuff left over. That's the local life. You know, a big benefit of local life If you can get yourself to a company where they have consistent freight, where they have good relationships in the area, to where freight gets slow, if your main product that you're delivering or your main customers, their sales go down, it gets slow, they're out of season, whatever it is, you need to be at a company where your company is able to quickly acquire other freight for you to move in order for you to keep making consistent money. That's one of the benefits of making consistent money, versus being over the road when you're at a good local company. Uh, that's what you need to be looking for. Talk to the drivers that are running local at the position that you're going to. Find out how long they've been there. Find out if they like it or not. Make sure you talk to the right drivers. A lot of these drivers out here are down and depressed, and it's just, man, it's like depression runs rampant in truck driving. It's not even cool. It's just out there. You see so much people with negative energy, and you're gonna be, if you go local, you're gonna be dealing with these type of people on an everyday basis. So you need to be prepared mentally when you go local to have to deal with that same guy that's got a bad attitude and is always talking about pay. You're gonna have to be ready to deal with that because it's gonna happen to you. These guys are going to come to you and they're going to want to know how much you got paid, what you gross, what you net, how many loads did you run, why did you take that load, running out there when you know that the receiver probably wasn't going to take it, because now when you do stuff like that, that raises the bar up for everybody else to have to do the exact same thing. So you're going to have to deal with that type of stuff when you go local, and you can set the pace. You can set the pace for your team, your shift, all the other truck drivers that are there. You can set the pace if you have the right attitude and you're consistent with what you're you're displaying. If you're always in a positive, if you're always having a positive mind state, then that will spread to the people that you work with. And being local, you got to allow that stuff to go in one ear and out the other. Don't let it affect how you perform your job. You're there to make your money. You're there to build great relationships with the account managers and the receivers, and get to know some of the people that are loading the trucks, because if you have an issue with how your truck is loaded, you're going to need to be able to go to those guys and have them quickly get out there to you in order to fix the issues. These are things that you got to do being local in order to be successful. These skills that I'm talking about, you have to have these skills, or the ability to develop these skills, if you want to be successful and make decent money being local. You got to do it. A lot of people are not built for the local life. They're OTR truck drivers. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Shout out to you guys getting your money, OTR. I envy you guys. I miss the OTR life. I just have to be home with my children. If I didn't have children, I'd be OTR. But I've got children. I'm doing this local thing, and I'm making it work for me. It's the same thing you got to do if you're local or you want to be local. You got to make it work for you. You've got to work your move. You've got to smarten up. You've got to have these people helping you out. You've got to communicate. Let them know what's going on with you. It may not seem like it's valuable information that you're telling them. If you're having a delay or anything like that, it may not seem like it's valuable information because you're still somewhat on time with your schedule. But delays or any issues that you're having, they'll appreciate what you're telling them, because they might have to switch something out. They might be wondering what's going on with you, or any information that you're giving them, whether it be about some other issues on some other trailers that you've seen out on the yard, whatever it is. Let them know, communicate. When you're out here communicating about issues you see with the trailers, delays that you're having, delays that you see other people having, somebody secured something wrong and you're letting them know how to fix it the best way that you can, uh, you know, in a non-confrontational manner. When you're doing stuff like that, your value goes up as a driver. Then you're more than just a steering wheel holder. Now you're an important part of the company and a value to have out on whatever yard that you're on when you're making yourself useful like that. Everything that you see, that information, whatever it is, you can share that with somebody and somebody's going to appreciate that knowledge that you just gave them. So do that when you're out here. Try your best out here when you're local. If you're going to do it, take your time. You're going to, the leaving shipper calls, the empty calls, the loaded calls, the T calls, the trailer status calls, all that stuff. Sometimes you're going to make mistakes to where you don't remember to send out that information. Don't be hard on yourself about it if you're going to go local, because you're going to make those mistakes because you're doing things at such a faster pace than OTR. You might do one, entire circle from the accepting the load if you're leased to emptying out the load and waiting on another one. You might do one of those OTR in a whole week. Especially refrigerated. Sometimes dry van, you running those long loads. You might be doing 4 or 5 of those, or 17 or 20 of those a day running local. So it's going to take your mind some time to adjust to getting good at doing, all the stuff that comes with the Qualcomm, because you're going to spend so much more time on it being local. So it's going to take some time for you to get used to that. If you're making mistakes, that's okay. What I want you to do is just focus on doing everything right. Doing everything right. No matter how much you have to slow down in order to do it right, that's how much you slow down. But I don't want you to get out here and try and go as fast as all the other guys, because you might be on an account where a lot of people are really, really fast. Don't get out here and try and go as fast as these other guys, and you're making a lot of mistakes. I want you to get it right at your own pace, and then at your own pace, boost up your speed. And it will come over time and you'll get used to it. You're worried about driving in traffic, you'll get used to that too. Just like you had to get used to driving a truck in the first place, and increasing your following distance versus driving in a car, you'll get used to driving in traffic. I remember when I was OTR, I used to get off the phone going through, take my turn my headset off, let everybody go, whoever I was talking to when I started to drive through a city, so I could focus on the traffic. It doesn't bother me anymore. I can have my headset on and be in the middle of a great conversation in the middle of rush hour traffic, because I practice it. I'm comfortable with it. I understand the limitations of the truck that I'm in. You know, that comes with experience. That's why they want experienced drivers. Don't rush it. If you want to go local, don't rush it. Make sure that you're ready for it. Make sure that you know that you're going to be successful doing this. Going local takes preparation. You need to make sure that you've got a vehicle that's in good condition, somewhere to stay, somewhere to sleep, a washer and dryer to keep your clothes clean. You need to make sure that where you're going The people that you're going to be around are people that are going to allow you to be successful and be at your best and not try and drag you down. If that's the situation that you're getting into, excuse me, I've got the laptop on the bed. If that's the situation that you're getting into, then you might just want to stay OTR until you're sure that the situation you're getting into going local is one where you can be successful. You're adding a lot of variables into your situation when you go local. When you're OTR, there's things you don't have to worry about. You don't have to worry about helping anybody out or arguing with anybody or the stress of a relationship really that much because you're out there in the truck by yourself. All these things can turn a completely successful OTR driver into a failure going local because they've got an overwhelming amount of stuff on their plate at home. So when you're out here trying to make a decision to go local or stay OTR, sit down and write it down on a piece of paper. Write down the pros and cons of going local. Is it something that you really want to do? Is it something that you need to do? Are you going to be able to take care of your bills like you need to off of what a local job is paying? Are you getting any help with the bills? Are you going to be the head of household that's taking care of everything and nobody else works? Or are you going into a situation where your spouse or your partner is helping you, they're making a decent amount of money, and your bills will decrease by going local, so you don't need that much money? Take that into account. Make sure that you're going to be financially stable before you switch positions. If you can go local at the same company that you're OTR with, I recommend that versus switching companies. I don't really recommend switching companies, period. It just doesn't look good on your resume as a truck driver constantly switching companies. You've had your CDL 6, 7 years and you've been with 8 or 9 companies. It just doesn't look good. Um, that's a big red flag to the best companies out there. So I don't want to hold you guys up too long. I just wanted to give my opinion and give out the information that I know from going OTR to going local. You know, it worked out for me, and I know it'll work out for a lot of you all. You just got to put the work in. You got to make it happen. If you want it, then make it happen. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do it. Believe in yourself. Have faith in yourself. Pray about it. Stay focused on it. And eventually you'll get there. Okay? Stay positive out here. It's your boy Trader Trap. I'm gone, man.